Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the 5 best rep item gold farms that you can do right now. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to be going over the 5 best rep item gold farms, and today this is a actual request done by Buggerlug on my Discord. Basically he wanted to know which type of rep items actually sell well, and quite frankly, I would actually like to make this into a video. So therefore, I've made it into a nice little list for you, Bug. And for anyone else who is interested in gold farming when it comes towards rep items. Note to self, some of these items actually go for a hell of a lot of gold, and they're quite easy to actually farm up. So aside from that, let's get into number 1. Now coming in at number 1 is the Damp Scale Basilisk Eyes. Now this one was actually brought to my attention when Student actually brought out a video farming this one up, and quite frankly it goes for a hell of a lot of gold. This one however is farmed up from the basilisks within Rakoa Forest. Basically all you're going to be doing is you're going to be slaughtering basilisks. Note to self, these are skinnable, so just so you know, you can actually turn this into a skinning farm as well if you bring your skinner along with you, giving you a load of not hide leather to go along with this farm. So not only can you get those rep items to actually sell alongside, we're selling for a high price, you can also sell not hide leather, which sells moderately well for a decent price as well as that moving forward. Now aside from that, the Basilisk Eyes are used in order as a quest turning in the lower city, for 8 of those for Scryer reputation. I know this because I just had to get a hold of a load of Basilisk Eyes to get myself exalted with my Scryer. These do fetch for a high price on the auction house, anywhere averaging from around about 50 gold to around about 200 gold. This is seriously a good gold farm, but the one thing that you may want to consider or bear in mind is sell rate. The sell rate on these are typically not the overall best, but they are good if you do like a couple of hours worth of farming this like every few weeks or so. It'll actually give you a nice chunk of gold at the end of the month. So that's something you can do moving forward. So aside from all of that, let's move into number 2, which is at number 2 is the Rakoa Feather Farm. Now this one is primarily located within the Rakoa Forest once again, but what you'll be wanting to do is taking out the Rakoa. Basically these guys actually drop some Rakoa feathers, of course they're Rakoa, and these ones can be used to gain reputation with the lower city. Not only that, but the actual feathers can actually be given in for the Rakoa cachet, or cache, or however you want to pronounce it. Aside from all of that, the cachet can actually give you a load of different types of transmog items, and some of them can actually fetch a high price on the auction house. That being some of the boots actually are quite rare and can really only be gotten through that cachet. So that is something you may want to consider by actually farming these up, selling the Rakoa feathers on the auction house, which average from anywhere from about 10 gold to 20 gold. And then you can also trade in a couple for the cachet in hopes to get some transmog. Depends on what you value the most really. If you're a transmog farmer and you're a transmog seller, then definitely do the farm and try and get hold of the cachet. If not, then you can also just sell those flat on the auction house. Bear in mind, if you do go with the transmog option, you do get the rep with the lower city as well, which is quite helpful if you're a completionist. Aside from all of that, let's move into number 3, which is the Relics of Udyr. Now, the Relics of Udyr can actually be primarily farmed up through one of my most favourite transmog farms, and that is the Halls of Lightning in Wrath of the Lich King. Basically what you'll be wanting to do is running into the Halls of the Lightning and running as you would if you were doing it as a transmog farm. I've done a few videos on how to farm up the Halls of Lightning. Quite frankly, this is one of the best farms for Wrath of the Lich King that you can do for rep items, and overall, through that actual farm, you get a load of transmog, you get a load of Relics of Udyr, which you can sell on the auction house for a pretty decent price depending on your server. So double check the Relics of Udyr before you want to initially go farm this up, because on some higher pop servers the supply is quite high and the price is quite low, so I would double check that moving forward. Now alongside all of this, this is for getting reputation within the Sons of Udyr. Basically you give them in as a turn-in pretty much, and that means that gives you rep with the Sons of Udyr, which can also lead to a mount that is locked behind that rep. And that is why these relics typically go for a decent amount of gold overall. I find this farm to be quite handy because it gives me a load of Eternals along with a load of Transmog and the Relics of Udyr. So you get like 3 farms in one with this particular Transmog farm, or overall just in general a farm. So aside from all of that, is this actually worth your time? Well, this one actually really does depend on your server and how much your Eternals and your Relics of Udyr are actually selling for. If you don't really care for all that much and you really just want to focus on the Transmog, then by all means go do that farm because it fetches a high price. But alongside that, you do get those rep items quite prevalently and they go for a decent amount of gold. Okay, so coming in for number 4 is a bit of an old farm, but it's one of the great farms overall, and that is the Netherite ore farm. Now this one can actually be done for reputation within the Nether Wing. Basically this is a turn in every single day for daily rep with the Nether Wing in order to unlock your Nether Drakes. Pretty much this farm is quite handy, but you will need to do the initial quest line in order to start farming up Netherite ore. Netherite ore, however, actually fetches a decent amount of gold on the auction house and can only be farmed up in one specific area. This is this area which is on the screen right now, and quite frankly you don't really need a flying mount for this. Whereas most farms you will need a flying mount to actually do the loop. This is quite a low, small area, and pretty much you'll be diving into little caves in order to get hold of the Netherite ore, as well as flying around the outskirts. I found that the nodes actually respawn pretty much as soon as I've completed my lap of Netherite ore, just by on foot, and then I can just keep doing that endlessly. If I do it with a flying mount, I typically have to wait for the respawns to actually happen, and that is kind of annoying overall. So I prefer to actually do this farm typically on foot, and then I can actually farm this up quite easier. Now aside from all of that, Netherite ore goes for a decent amount of gold overall. This does vary depending on your server, due to the fact that it is an ore, a traded material, and thus you will need to double check this before you actually proceed with this actual farm. Aside from all of that, the Netherwing rep is something people actually do go for, and that is to unlock all of your Nether Drakes in order to, if you're a mount collector, you definitely want that rep, and I am working towards it because I never did it when I was in BC, and I now want to just try and finish it off, so to speak, because it just makes sense to me. Aside from all of that, the location is of course in the Shadowmoon Valley for the Netherwing. Starting the chain quest is quite easy overall, as this is all within Shadowmoon Valley in that particular vicinity. Aside from all of that, guys, let's move on to number 5, which is the encrypted Twilight texts. Yes, this one is paired with a Transmog farm, which is in Silithus. What you'll be wanting to do is talk to Zordormi and go back to the old version before the big ass sword went into Silithus. What you'll be wanting to do then is, however, is to go all the way over to the Twilight base camp, anyone will do, and start destroying the Twilight cultists. These drop a load of different types of Transmog, and also have a chance of dropping the T-Boo's Blazing Longsword and the Glorious Leg Plate, are 2 Transmog items of note from actually doing this farm. But mainly what you're going for is the encrypted Twilight texts. These can actually be traded in if you have done the initial quest line within Silithus, and therefore all you have to do is just go to a little cave in which there is a quest line for that. If you actually do the actual quest line, you can actually, it will just show you directly where to go. Quest actually begins in the Cenarian Hold, and all you have to do is just follow the chain quest really. But to be more precise, if you're just doing it for the Twilight Cultist texts or the encrypted texts, then you don't need to do any of this quest line, and you just have to just murk these guys and sell them on the auction house. These can fetch for a pretty penny overall, as you're going to get multiple of these and they do stack up quite well. And what you'll be wanting to do is just farming those up and selling them on the auction house, and paired with that as one of the best gold farms for Transmog in the game, this is definitely a farm that you want to be doing. Aside from all of that, you do get more different types of items from this actual farm if you do it in a 5-man group, and overall it just works out a lot better doing it that way. So Aside from that, I would like to reiterate, do have group finders within the Discord, so if you want to put a group together, try doing it there. Aside from all of that, guys, what you can do if you have done the initial quest line within Silphus is give them into that guy, and then an hour or so later you will get stuff in the mailbox, which is bags that give you actually recipes and different types of things to go along with that. But the reputation that you actually get from the encrypted text when you give them into that quest giver, and obviously you can do that as many times as you want, is for the reputation with the Cenarian Circle. I don't know why I keep struggling to say Cenarian, but aside from that, what you'll be getting along with that rep is little bags that contain loads of different types of recipes, which then you can sell on the auction house. So what you can do if you have done the initial quest line is trade in a few of them and get a load of those recipes to sell on the auction house, or learn them as a blacksmith, as the majority of them are for blacksmithing. From all of that, guys, that is my 5 best rep item gold farms that you can do right now. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.